Western governments and tourist officials often warn travelers to be aware of the laws of any country people may travel to. 2 young women from Britain should have listened more carefully. They were busted on drug charges in Thailand, and even though they're going home, it's an experience they'll never forget.
The arrival at Phnom Penh prison of the man bearing the royal pardon signaled the release after some delay of Patricia Cahill and Karen Smith. They emerged into the glare of the assembled media. They were out of prison clothes for the first time in 3 years. The hugs were for British Embassy officials. The girls seemed overawed by events. Patricia Cahill, at 20, the younger of the two, spoke briefly.
Girls, how are you feeling?
Right.
At this stage, the girls were still in police custody.
I'm not out there yet.
Karen Smith indicated that they hadn't been expecting the King of Thailand's intervention.
Is this some kind of a shock, girls, or do you think it was going to happen?
It was a shock. A very big shock.
Look at this way!
They left in a hurry, hustled into a van with no further comment. Their stories are apparently being saved for the newspaper with the biggest checkbook. Late evening in Bangkok, and the girls are taken to the airport where their ordeal began, the scene of their arrest with 60 pounds of pure heroin in their suitcase. Now they're heading home much earlier than they could possibly have hoped.
Murder in the mansion. That's what Los Angeles prosecutors are saying about the deaths of Jose and Kitty Menendez. The defendants on trial are their children, as Gary Shepard reports.
The prosecutor says Lyle and Eric Menendez murdered their parents nearly 4 years ago purely out of greed. The family had assets of $14 million.
Based upon this evidence, it will become apparent that this murder was unlawful, unjustified, and wholly premeditated, and that it was accomplished through a conspiracy into which Lyle Menendez entered with his brother, and that but for a few mistakes they made, this was almost the perfect murder.
Recording company executive Jose Menendez and his wife Kitty were killed at their Beverly Hills home by shotgun blasts in August of 1989. At first, their sons denied any involvement. However, during opening arguments, the defense attorney said they now admit they committed the murders because of psychological and sexual abuse, in effect putting the parents on trial.
Eric Menendez told his brother Lyle Menendez that he couldn't stand it any longer. His father had been molesting him for 12 years. It had gotten more violent, and he couldn't take it.
The two brothers could get the death penalty if they're convicted on the first-degree murder charges. A long trial is anticipated, with the verdict not expected before Thanksgiving. Gary Shepard, ABC News, Los Angeles.
From Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, a story of one man's will to survive. 37-year-old Donald Wyman was clearing timber when a tree fell and pinned him to the ground. There was no one to come for help, so he cut off his own leg with a pocket knife. Wyman then crawled 60 meters to a tractor, drove it to his truck, and then drove his truck to a farm to get help. He's in serious condition in hospital, and doctors have apparently successfully reattached his severed limb.
Well, flooding in St. Louis, Missouri has taken a turn for the worse. The river crested at a record 14.4 meters and punched at least 4 holes in the levee. Some workers trying to shore up the levee found themselves trapped in the water and had to be rescued by boat. Any relief from the flooding appears a long way off. Officials say it will be the middle of next month before the Mississippi falls below flood stage. It's almost impossible to live a normal life in the flood zone. But as Tom Foreman reports, that has not kept the people in one Missouri town from trying.
Mail is delivered by boat every morning. There is no other way to reach Portage de Sioux. The small river town has been almost entirely underwater for a week, and still the residents are holding on. That resolve has led this community in a valiant battle to stay put despite the river. When Mark Warner's auto repair shop went under, he was depressed, but he never even considered leaving.
Sure, we get unhappy and people get down, and that's why we got to stay here to help the people help each other.
Jerry Doherty can barely see the top of his trailer, but he's not leaving either.
Kind of make up my mind what I'm going to do. Move back or whatever. I ain't leaving the town, though.
How many you want?
Just two.
When the store went under, a temporary one opened up. When the town water pumps were threatened by the flood, volunteers came to guard them day and night.
And if we stick together and we pull through this now, we'll be able to build it up better.
In many ways, it is that spirit which is maintaining this town now. It has been flooded many times in the past, many times almost taken off the map. At the edge of town, a statue called Our Lady of the River was erected after the Great Flood of '51. The flood of '93 nearly washed her away. But many here vow both she and this town will still be standing firm long after the waters recede. Tom Foreman, ABC News, Portage de Sioux, Missouri.
And in Australia, scientists are carefully studying an extremely fragile treasure. It's a 2,000-year-old egg. We have this report.
This egg set the scientific world abuzz when found by this group of youngsters holidaying in Cervantes 4 months ago.
We were just going for a walk in the sand dunes and we just saw this thing in the ground.
The age of the egg, thought to be laid by an extinct Madagascan elephant bird, remained a mystery until unlocked by scientists using carbon dating.
We find that the egg is 2,000 years old with an error of plus minus 150 years.
The young adventurers plan to sell their prize find, using the proceeds to secure their future.
We believe 150,000 is a good price, would be a good buy.
The museum would like to have the egg. It's something of great cultural heritage interest for Western Australia.
Although the egg is on worldwide sale, it is hoped an Australian buyer can be found.
And Bill and I will be right back.